listening to the Bearded Theologians podcast, hosted by Zach Bechtold and Matt Franks. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast and check us out online at beardedtheologians.com. Well, you're listening to the Bearded Theologians podcast. I'm Matt Franks.
And I'm Zach Bechtold. And today we have a reoccurring guest, a very good friend of ours, Chris Wilterdink. And, we've talked about a lot of things with Chris, and we're going to talk probably about the most important thing we've ever talked about. We're going to talk about pumpkin spice and why it's so terrible. But the reason why we're going to is Chris is helping raising money for Global Young People Convocation, something that Matt and I, and actually Chris, met at. And you can blame all of that a few years ago on all of this. But Chris, we're glad to have you with us, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing and why.
Sure. I'm really happy to be here because I do think the Global Young People's Convocation is an awesome thing, and also because I think pumpkin spice is about the worst and over-marketed thing that has come out maybe in the last 10 to 15 years, right? So first, Global Convo, it's going to be in South Africa in 2018, and it is a legislative gathering for young people from the United Methodist Church, and it relies on people from around the world being able to come together so that each and every region of the church is fairly represented with voice. So the meeting costs a little bit of money to get to because it's in Johannesburg, South Africa. Also, when you're staying in a hotel and eating meals, things will cost what they cost. And so when we have people who are coming from places in the world that the average salary or average amount they make is like $3 a day, large trips like that are very expensive, and I feel very passionate about being able to make it accessible to everybody so that we've got a fair perspective of what young people in the church want to tell the general church, right? So that is why I am actually going to be willing to swallow my pride and some of the things that I hate that are pumpkin spice flavored. So you can go back through my social media feeds, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I've been banging this drum for at least 3 or 4 years. There's several reasons I hate pumpkin spice, okay? One of them, it's in too many things. It's in way too much stuff, right? Like pumpkin pie spice, which is what it actually is. It's not pumpkin spice. It is pumpkin pie spice, right? The mixture of cinnamon and nutmeg and whatever. It tastes fine and it tastes good. And yes, it belongs in pumpkin pie, okay? That's a fine place to put it. When you start putting that in other stuff, then it becomes a problem for me, okay? Not that I don't like the the flavors, they're fine. They're okay. They're okay. They're not like the best thing that's ever been invented, but they're okay. But you start putting them in things that they just shouldn't belong in. And that's what I really started to get bothered about, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks, that's one of the big ones. People will complain that they get one of those and they don't taste the pumpkin in it. And there is no pumpkin in a pumpkin spice latte.
Right.
It refers to the spices themselves. And so when you get a drink that's pumpkin spice and it's orange, that bothers me because there's no pumpkin and they're just trying to make it look like pumpkin pie, which is where the spice should be in the first place. Okay. So
right.
That's one. That's a big rambling one. It's oversaturated, right? Like they've started to make all sorts of crazy things. So people will send me pictures of this stuff that they find. Pumpkin spice gum, pumpkin spice pasta sauce, pumpkin, what are the other pumpkins? Somebody sent me a picture last year of pumpkin spice salmon that they found at the deli in their local store. And we can all agree that that's not natural. Okay.
That is not okay.
And I think the word hate is very strong, but I'm 95% sure I am going to hate pumpkin spice salmon if I ever have to eat it. Okay. I can barely stand that it's a coffee thing, let alone saturated in all the other things. So that's the second part of it that really, really bothers me. I suppose the third part is probably related to some of the same stuff I'll complain about for the Christmas season, that pumpkin spice, for however big it's gotten, now it has its own season. I mean, it's the middle of August, man. You and I, Matt and Zach and me, we are talking about pumpkin spice right when school is getting back in. And that's not okay. So it should not exist in August. It should not exist. Well, it shouldn't exist any time of year, really. But the fact that it is blown up and is now available from August through November, when all of a sudden then it becomes all peppermint spiced stuff. Don't even get me started on like peppermint mochas and like how they try really, really hard during the Christmas season to be like, oh no, this is super Christmassy because it's hazelnut, peppermint. They just start cramming gingerbread and whatever in the drink just because like, oh, you can have that and mix it all up and it's good. No, it's not good. It's actually really terrible. It's really awful. And pumpkin spice is the root of all those things. The root of all those things.
So what you're saying is if pumpkin spice has a day maximum, it's Thanksgiving, and it should be in pie.
Yes, okay. That is absolutely fine, right? Pumpkins themselves are during October,
right?
And then you're trying to figure out what to do with those pumpkins after Halloween is done,
right?
So then you're leading into November, Thanksgiving, pumpkin spice, pumpkin pie, November, fine, maybe for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay.
Maybe.
This would be, like there's people that I know, and this is not pumpkin spice related, but there's people that I know that start listening to Christmas music like right now. And I might be talking to one of them.
I was going to say.
Christmas songs, man.
You don't mess with Christmas, man.
Pumpkin spice doesn't belong in anything but maybe this like 10-day window around Thanksgiving. That would be like you listening to Christmas music in June. Which I know you do, which I know you do, Zach,
that's what got him to Montana. When he drove
from
New Mexico to Montana, he just loaded up his Pandora with Christmas music, and he just went, and that's what got him to Montana. So, Chris, what you're doing, you're raising funds for to be able to get people to go to Global Young People's Convocation, and part of that raising funds, if you reach certain benchmarks, you'll do certain things. What are those certain things?
Right. So. The amounts might sound a little bit big, but remember, I am trying to fully sponsor 2 participants to the Global Young People's Convocation if we get all the way to the top. So $1,000 is my base level. That's the floor. If we get to $1,000, I will drink a tall, like the smallest one that Starbucks has, the tall pumpkin.
See, that's so
latte.
Misleading.
And I won't trick it up. I won't do, like it will be pumpkin spice latte. Like that'll be it. I'll give them my real name. I'll film the whole thing, me ordering it and bringing it back to this kickoff fundraising party we're having on October 14th, and I'll live stream the whole thing. If we get up to $1,200, I said I would do a venti. I would upgrade, right? If I go 20% above my floor goal, I will go to the 20-ounce thing. So I'll drink a 20-ounce one. If we get a little bit bigger, if we go up to $1,500, because I also think that the pumpkin spice latte is a very basic thing, whatever word that means to you. I am not basic, but I will be on October 14th for the right amount of money. So I will wear an infinity scarf and seasonally appropriate clothing while I enjoy that pumpkin spice latte for $1,500. And if we get up to $2,000, I have people in the office who are willing to put together a pumpkin spice buffet of awfulness, where they will find pumpkin spice Cheerios and pumpkin spice whatever and line them up on a table. And I will go down and I will eat each and everything that is provided for me at the table. Again, filming it and sharing it on social media.
You used the word willing, but I think the word you meant was excited. You have people in the office that are excited to put this buffet together.
I can do, well, yes, the people who they are more than happy. In fact, some of the best donations that I've gotten so far have been from people in the office who know that I'm not just making this up.
Right.
I really, really dislike it.
Right. It's those people who give, and like your mom. I did a fundraiser a couple of years ago where I jumped in a pond wearing a tutu, and my mom was like, "How much money do you need?"
He was like, "You used to do that for free."
Exactly.
I was thinking, I've got some access to a lot of funds,
right?
I could use at my discretion. I see this as a good cause, but I, as someone who's been to Global Young People's Convocation, it's such a great thing that you're doing this, Chris, and we appreciate you doing this, and we know that it's going for a good cause, and so we want to encourage everybody to give, and we'll list a link in our we'll list his giving link on our in this post and all that stuff, so you can give, and we want to make sure that Chris really exceeds his goal, and let's get him to $2,000.
Oh yes, please.
And so all my big giving friends, you know who you are. Please, just go ahead and let's go all out and just, let's make this happen, because it does make a difference. As someone who's presented legislation and has sat there and had conversations and has developed friendships now that we now share a common thread of being a part of that event. And even though ours was a little bit crazier than I know what they're going to experience, they shouldn't have a typhoon because of that event. My life has definitely been impacted by this event, and I want to encourage everybody to give, because you are making a difference in the world. And so we'll have that link listed in the deal. Thank you, Chris, for your time. For the Bearded Theologians, I'm Matt Franks.
And I'm Zach Bechtold. Give money to Chris so he can eat pumpkin spice.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Bearded Theologians podcast. We hope you've enjoyed listening, and we hope that you share our content online through Facebook and social media. And we hope that you check out our Beardcast store at beardedtheologians.com and pick up some great Bearded Theologians gear. We hope you have a good day.